Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jamie, Formidable Fabrications. Today we have a wonderful project to work on. We have a dump trailer. So what are we doing to this, you may ask? Let me show you. No point in telling when I can have more fun showing. Yeah, all the way around. So, common problem I see with these dump trailers, people put their stuff in it, and when they dump it, they never clean the corners out. Hence, we get rust holes. Yeah, that's my show. So, what we're going to do is, let's see here, I bought some steel, got 6-inch by 1/8, and we're just essentially going to line this in here. So we're going to put it along here, and we're going to put a piece up against here. Nothing crazy. Seems really simple, you may think, but it actually isn't. First off, we have to cut off all these D-rings that are in there. I think there's 4 of them in there. And see if I can show you, see if we can get an idea of the situation. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let's do it this way. So that's semi-level. That's the edge of the trailer bed. That's how far off it is. Yeah. So not only do we just put the pieces on and weld them, but we actually kind of have to bring the trailer back to some kind of square. If you, I don't know if you can look down. If you can look down right there, you can see where the trailer has a bow in it too. Not uncommon. I mean, it is what it is. It just has to be fixed. So this client does waterproofing, and they typically carry around sand, gravel, pallets of concrete mix, and dirt. So those puncture wounds are a DOT's wet dream. So we need to take care of all this stuff. So essentially for this, I'm just going to run a piece of that 6-inch down here, and unfortunately I'm probably going to have to take a jack under it, under the trailer, and see if I can like push up the steel to kind of give it some kind of squareness so I can weld that steel onto it without, otherwise I'm going to have to like take the steel and like bend it like this to make like a almost like a semicircle to run it down, just to be able to weld it along the edges nice. So that's where I'm at with this. And then while the trailer's here, we'll be doing bearings on all 4 wheels, adjusting the brakes, and then going to be working on some electrical on the front. So I saw this, and normally this thing right here is what you use your safety breakaway. You just clip this onto your truck, and then it's, I can't do this with one hand, but it's stretchy, and usually this end goes to the breakaway switch. So when if the trailer comes disconnected, this pulls out, and it pulls out a little switch which turns the electric brakes on the trailer. So I saw that laying up there, and I thought, well, man, because some people think, well, hey, I'll pull that out, it'll turn the brakes on, and then I have a parking brake. But little do they realize it drains down the battery within like an hour or two, and it becomes totally useless. So I thought, man, this guy's an idiot. He put the thing up there and thinking that he was going to put the e-brake on this trailer or something. No, it just broke off the breakaway. So that's the breakaway switch right there. This little piece in here is supposed to pop out when the trailer comes disconnected. And there's like a little switch in here, so when it pops out, the little contacts connect, and it turns the brakes on the back of the trailer. But so that needs to be repaired, I guess, because once again, another DOT lovely right there that they look for. And the battery is dead on this. Can't keep it charged. I suspect that either the truck's not charging this, either the truck fuse is bad or there's a bad wire in the trailer. And they said the battery charger, that you're supposed to be able to plug in a extension cord here and charge the battery when you're not using it, but they said it doesn't work. So, all right, so that's the trailer in a whole. I think the first one I've seen like this, and they don't get any better, honestly. It's just years of usage. This is a cam trailer, and I'm not going to trash them. They're really nice built trailers. I have not seen a lot of issues with them, but it seems like a common occurrence with these trailers. It's just bad building technique. So let me explain something to you. So what we have is, okay, you have one sheet of steel here. You can see the seam. One sheet of steel there, and then a sheet of steel up here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's all one piece. Yeah, this one is one piece all the way up there, okay? They weld this piece down, they weld this piece down, they weld that piece across, and then they weld there. Well, that's a spot for rust. You leave your material in there, and it's just gonna rust through. It doesn't matter what weld is in there, it doesn't matter. That's just gonna rust. Whoops. That wasn't scary. Okay, so let's get back to, wow, that really scared me. Okay, dirt lays in here, gets rusty. Okay, the metal rusts, the welds break, it's done deal. Okay, well, the problem is, it wouldn't be a big deal, but they ran this steel all the way down here. You can see, it came all the way down here. So what happens is the dirt gets down in these little areas that are starting to rust and sits behind these, and then it rusts everything out. Okay, so you can see this beam is starting to get surface rust on it. Now, the beam is going to be thick, so it's not going to be a structural issue, not for a long time. But it's still a bad design flaw, and a lot of the trailers I see have the same design flaw. Is that, I guess, for production purposes, they take these, they take the sheets and they just kind of lay them over and then weld them and call them a day. And that's great, but when you get dirt stuck behind them, it just creates a rusty nightmare over the years. So that's what that's what I battle with every time someone brings me a dump trailer is, okay, where's the flaw in this trailer? Because I know there's going to be one. So my old dump trailer, which I had sold to my neighbor, that one's starting to rust too. Granted, the design build is better in the sense that instead of just putting metal here and here, they actually bent the metal and it went up. But on the back side of the metal, there's so much extra reinforcement that when it started to rust through down here, that reinforcement was there to hold the dirt in and just kept it rusting up. So, long story short, people, clean out your dump trailers when you're done. They'll last so much longer. Don't let the dirt hide in the corners for ages. Make sure you scrape them out, you clean them really good, power wash them periodically, and they'll last so much longer. And honestly, the best thing I could tell you people to do, the absolute best thing, would be buy a new dump trailer, bring it to me, let me plate all the corners for you with extra steel, and then the damn thing will never rust. Problem solved. End of story. The absolute best way to handle dump trailers and dump trucks that have that are brand new would be to do this. Let me see if I can show you quickly. Okay, so here's a little piece of steel. Is the weld not something this short, but something bigger, but welded on an angle right here. So what this will do is if I weld this whole thing, put a whole weld seam in there, or a whole seam weld, sorry, down there, then the material seems to not get stuck in that corner as easily because it has this little diagonal area. So there's not a sharp corner. It's not a 90-degree corner to get stuff in. You only have 45s. much more efficient. The dump trucks I've seen with that installed on there, and the dumpsters that I've seen that are built that way outlast a conventional dump trailer or dump truck multiple times over. So yeah, just some thoughts. I know I'm rambling on a lot, but just some thoughts. If you're looking into buying dump trailers, or or if you have one that's starting to rust, these are things to think about. So I don't really want to go outside right now. It's really windy, and I'll probably get bad sound quality. So let me see if you can look through my wonderfully clean windows. So that's the truck out there that is on the last video. I'm still working on it because I can't weld out in the wind right now. But if you can see right there, there's a diagonal piece in that bed. And that serves two purposes. A, it serves it so the bed doesn't have any flex this way, but it also keeps the material from sitting in those corners and rusting the corners out. So that's what I do on the trailers that I can. This one, I'm not going to be doing that for one main reason, is that these sides are so shot that I'd have to put a huge piece of steel that comes out like crap, probably like, nah, not that far. That's 15 inches. I'd probably do like a 12-inch piece or something, but it would have to come out really far in order for me to catch good steel to weld to. But then you still have this, and I don't want to leave this under there, because I mean, that does provide some kind of structural rigidity to the trailer. And the price of steel is just ridiculous. So they wanted to keep this cost as low as possible. So we're just doing the plating down there. And, that's in a perfect world, I would say, hey, you need to do it this way. But this ain't a perfect world, and no one has all the money in the world. So just doing the best I can do, and making my recommendations as I go along. So at least he's getting that side plated. The metal I'm putting down is thicker than the original metal. And instead of charging him extra amount of money to do a bunch of extra work, he's actually putting the money into some maintenance, doing the wheel bearings, working on the electrical, things like that. So I can't blame him for that. I mean, everyone has a budget to stick by, and I try and work with everyone's budget and do the best I can to get this. So anyway, so that was a lot of talking. Hope you guys understood and appreciated that. It's just years of experience looking at this stuff and seeing issues with it. Now I'm going to get the steel cut, because there is a good bit of prep work that's going to be involved in putting this steel down before I even get to the point of welding. So I'll set you up on the camera, and got to pull this steel out and get it cut. Okay, so I didn't film much of the layout of this, but as you can see on this, I did manage to get this piece and this piece semi together. I'm still in the process of welding them up. So the biggest thing I found at this point, well, actually I should say a couple things have changed. As I was originally going to cut out the metal behind here, thinking that it would give me some more play to work with this, but I found the metal was flexible enough where everywhere where there was a support bracket, I was able to throw a heavy weld in there, and this was still relatively straight since it's so close to the front of the trailer. The bottom piece has tacks on every frame rail. Oh, hey, I see you watching me. Good penetration right there, tell you what. There you go. So that's welded up. Does make a nice clean look. So when I weld this, I'm just gonna see how much of this I can push up against it, and then see how much on the other side I can bash in. I think that'll be the easiest route. If I take a hammer right here, hammer right in this area and just bash it in a few times, it'll seal up that small gap, and I'll be able to weld that up. The only hard part is going to be doing right in there, and that's behind the wheel wells. Now I just got to do that side, and same thing to the front. So the metal's already cut, just got to get it cleaned up over there and put in place.